Welcome to the show. Mike is here. Isis is here. Garrett is here. Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
Oh, great. Great.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun show last night.
Oh, dude, I've got nothing but compliments, especially from coworkers who listen to the show.
Really? Now, were they former listeners? Have they ever heard of the show before?
They did. Actually, funny enough, when one of my guys, Chris, right?
Yeah.
He was talking about podcasts, things that he listens to. And I was like, oh, yeah, I listen to this one called TDC. He's like, oh, I love that podcast. I was like, yeah, I'm the woke bay. And he goes, like, he got all, like, starstruck for a second, shook my hand. I was like,
Nice.
Dude, I've been working with you for months, all right? Like,
That's hilarious.
I'm not a celebrity. I'm just...
Yeah, but you wear a Detroit Cast beanie.
I know. I
a
thought he
lot.
would have picked up on it, but he also does a whole different department than I do, so I only see him kind of in
okay.
passing, and he probably never
Gotcha.
got a chance to really read my hat.
Yeah, the woke base kind of stuck with people. It was a good name.
You know what? I'll keep it. That's fine with me.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't matter. But I have had some people say, just call him Garrett. The woke bay sounds weird, and I'm like, but the other people are like, the woke bay, because I think I usually do call you Garrett.
You do. You always say like Garrett, the woke bay. Like you'll add both.
Yeah, sometimes, but there's not a reason either way. But I have had people take up both sides.
Nah,
So it doesn't matter.
I'll put it like this: my name Garrett is actually spelled wrong. It's 1R1T.
Oh,
so
it is.
I'm 1R1T Garrett instead of you got the 3G. Greg.
I think I always write you
2 R's, 2 T's.
No,
1
1R,
R's.
2 T's.
Yeah, something like
I think
that.
that's how I.
There's so many different ways to spell it.
Let
It
me
never
see.
bothers me.
I don't know how it's not. I don't know.
So that's why the woke base
What
is
is
easier.
What is it usually?
It's usually it's
2 R's, 2 T's.
2 R's, 2 T's, or you'll get the 2 R's, 1 T, or the.
Oh no,
1
I've
R,
got
2
you
T.
as Garret.
Sweet.
In my phone book.
Hell yeah, then you got me right.
Yeah. Well, I'm used to it. I'm kind of sensitive to this just because of Walters with an O.
Yeah.
That I've had to explain my whole life to people.
I asked my mom why she named me like this. She said she never wanted me to have a cool little knick-knack with my name on it from a gift shop. That was the reason.
okay.
That was the only
that's-
reason she ever gave me.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I think it's cool that Jay's name was Jay.
Yeah,
and not Jason or something like
Right.
that.
Oh, that is cool.
Like-
I always thought it was short for something.
Yeah, no, his name is literally J-A-Y.
Which actually
Jay.
really fits him, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, it does,
Like,
doesn't it?
he isn't.
Yeah.
It's just he would be just J-A-Y.
Just Jay, yeah.
Like not Jason, not like you said,
Yeah.
other name or whatever.
Yeah, and there's no like he would call in and be like, Miguel or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no play on Jay.
You don't need.
Personally. But
I like
know it
listening
can't-
when I'm driving around.
If you have
Like,
to, you have to. But like, I like watching clips or full episodes on YouTube personally.
Yeah,
I just like
yeah.
it. I know that's just how I am.
I didn't used to be like that, but it's changed a lot in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But I would say
It really has.
Well,
So
I'd always been like that in general. Like when I talk about wanting to do radio my whole life, I always used to talk about like when we would go to like the auto show and they'd have Radio Row.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and like if I could have sat there for an hour, I would have.
Yeah,
I liked the
me
idea
too.
of people talking to a microphone. They had their little engineer and I don't know. I just loved it from the beginning. So I think that's
did
why.
I did too.
I don't know. I was a radio nerd, but I never watched podcasts only because I was always listening to them while I was doing something else.
Yeah,
I
no, I
got like
get
a little
that.
bit of an ADHD to me where I have
Yeah.
to be doing multiple things at the same time.
I'm not great at multitasking. So if I'm doing something and listening, like I'm always in awe of people that can do that.
Oh, no,
I
that's
just
me.
can't. Like it's just going right through me as I'm doing something else. And it could be mindless shit. It could be I'm doing a Lego.
Yeah.
And I just can't.
I don't know how you
really
live like that. If I'm doing a Lego, like even though the Lego is interesting to me, I still have to have noise in the background or like something to tune
Yeah.
into.
Well, I'll
with my
play
ears.
music. If I'm doing, I've gotten big into puzzles recently.
Have
And
you really?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
What size are you doing?
I don't remember how
we
big.
talking Jigsaw?
2,000. What other?
Like Hanayama, the little metal puzzle. I love those ones.
No, Jigsaw.
I thought I was making a friend
Like
here.
over 500 is hard. That gets hard
they
when you
are
get into
tough.
1,000. Like
it started
don't
when
just throw that out there like a few thousand.
No,
those are big puzzles.
Okay, so maybe it's 500, 800. I'd have to look. But it started off when I was house sitting. I would always go to the Kennedy's house sitting. And one time I was there, and she'd had a puzzle like quarter finished. And she said, oh, by the way, if you want to complete this puzzle. And I was like, I'm always just sitting here blankly watching TV. I should fucking try this.
Yeah.
And it was like
And you
hard,
loved
dude.
it?
Like I did like it, but it was hard. And I would just put on EDM. I'd put on like on YouTube. I'd put on live festival sets.
Yeah.
And just sit there for like
good
an
old
hour or
droning
so.
music.
And yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I couldn't listen to. I wouldn't want to listen to a podcast. I could watch sports and have it in the background, I guess. But
Yeah.
if it was not,
My mom's big into puzzles. I get her puzzle every year for Christmas.
yeah. I need
Yeah.
to do more of them, honestly, because it is something that's cool. It uses your brain, and it's like
And they're not terribly expensive. Like
No.
Lego is just so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds of dollars
Yeah.
for a good
Thousands.
size one. Oh yeah.
There's a couple in the thousands that baffle me.
yeah. Yeah.
And I am trying to figure out I love TV, but I'm trying to find more things that if like I said, if I'm house sitting or something, I'm not just sitting there binge watching TV for 10 hours. It's at least take an hour break or something and do something. So.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Well, I started binge watching The Boys.
Yeah, I see that. I haven't seen it, but it's
not bad. It's not bad. A few people have recommended it to me.
Yeah.
I put it out there once. Like, I think I've watched everything on Netflix. So if you've got something,
I tried recommending you stuff.
Did you?
Yeah, I was saying Righteous Gemstones. If you check that one
Yeah.
out,
Oh yeah. I've
highly
checked
recommend.
that out. Yeah. That's great. That's great.
What is it about? I don't know this one.
It's about
It's like a mega church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's got what's his name?
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride, and it's
Really?
like the writer and
I fucking love him.
Yeah.
Is he serious? Is it a comedy or
it's a comedy. It's
Okay.
fucking it's wild, and it's got Dan Connor, the John. What's his name? The dad from Roseanne, John.
Fuck.
Shit, his name's escaped me.
John
but-
Goodman.
John Goodman.
Jesus
Thank you.
Christ.
Yeah, it's got him as the dad. I mean, it's a good cast. It's a wild show.
How many seasons is it in?
3 right now.
3? Okay. And it's
Yeah.
on Prime, you said, right?
Yep. Or Max.
HBO.
HBO Max.
Oh,
HBO Max.
Okay, never mind.
I'll give you my password.
Okay.
Yeah, you can check it out. I've given the password to a few people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem to be a problem. But that's a good one. But
They're all starting to hammer down at that though, dude. Dude, to be honest with you, the people who complain about it, I think I get it, but also it's like it's what it is. Hulu,
Yeah.
I know Hulu's about to do that. Like I
Yeah.
share my thing with Hulu with a few people, and they sent an email out saying like, we're gonna start. Whoever you have to have it essentially.
Yeah.
Whoever has it has to have it.
Well, I have. Well, I won't get into it, but
Yeah.
it's so much worse. Like the road to hell again, paved with great intentions. It's like, oh, you can a la carte anything, but at the end of the day, by the time you get everything you want, and if you play it the way like, oh yeah, you just watch a series on HBO and then you cancel it and then you
it's a
buy it back when you binge watch whatever. It's a giant pain in the ass to do that, and so people just end up getting all those subscriptions, and it's like now you're paying twice what you were for cable.
No, I know.
It's a fucking
one time.
nightmare.
It just becomes cable again.
Yeah, and people that can really afford it, they don't give a shit. They're like, okay, so I'm spending $400 a month on cable bills, but for a lot of people, it's a giant,
For sure.
it's a pain in the ass. And there's oftentimes shows that you just, people recommend, and I want to see or an older movie, and I'm like, oh, now I got to pay $4 with commercials to watch this fucking movie. Jesus, forget it. I'm out.
Yep.
Is what it is. But maybe we'll play some more drops a little bit later. Why don't we get to some news? I don't know if this is shocking anymore, but because it seems like it's every year. Did you know the Super Bowl was the most watched?
Yeah, the most watched
ever.
I mentioned that yesterday, if you remember.
Did you? But
Yeah.
we didn't have numbers or anything.
We don't have numbers, but I'd seen a thing saying that it was.
But it always is. It's the most.
I think they've had down years, though.
Well, no. They're always the most watched program for the year.
Yeah.
In the country, but it was the most watched Super Bowl ever.
Yeah.
123 million viewers on average on Sunday. It was an overtime game, and it was CBS's most watched telecast ever. 0.4 million average viewers on Univision, Paramount Plus, CBS, and their digital properties.
What about Nickelodeon?
Yeah, Nickelodeon would probably be included in that too.
Oh yeah, them and their little Taylor Swift square.
Did they have a Taylor
They
Swift?
had a Taylor Swift square that would pop up in the corner when Taylor was doing stuff.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know if you've got kids that are into Nickelodeon shit. I suppose.
Why not?
Are you into Nickelodeon? Is that like
No.
does your age?
I was a
group,
Cartoon
like,
Network kid.
You were okay.
That doesn't
So you
shock
were.
me.
No.
Yeah, you were into more hardcore.
Got Adult
shit.
Swim tattooed on my arm. I was
Yeah.
watching stuff I wasn't supposed to. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. No shock there. So, anyways, they got a 7% increase over last year's Super Bowl. More than 200 million people watched all or part of the Super Bowl across the networks. So, anyways, to put that in a little bit of perspective, Sunday's viewership comes close to the between 125 and 150 million that tuned in on CBS, ABC, and NBC to watch the moon landing in 1969.
Oh shit.
But there's just so many more people.
All to watch both TV shows, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also a lot more TVs than probably 1969.
What's that?
Probably a lot more TVs than 1969.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'd say that, and a lot more people. I mean, there were
69.
I just saw that.
he set himself up, and I mean,
It's
good
great.
for you.
Hey, it's great. That's what you got to do.
By the way, I gotta say, I am starting starting to get into the camp that I'm not totally sure about the moon landing.
I was just going to say that, Isis. I was just going to say that. I've watched enough TikTok videos, so I've done my research on this.
No. If you really just you start to think about the technology and some of this stuff, and I'm not.
The way Buzz would get all worked up and fight people when they called him out on it.
I'm not saying yet that we didn't do it.
You know, it was none of us were born then. Right. So none of us were alive when it took place.
Right.
And so by the time we were of age to comprehend it, this is decades ago. This is going back a while. And so it's just like, I assume the Holocaust happened. I assumed World War II happened and the Civil War happened. I wasn't there for it.
Are you denying the Holocaust now?
No,
okay,
no,
not
but
that far. Good.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it was, you just took shit at face
landed on the
value.
moon,
It's like,
100%.
I've heard that. We landed on the moon. No big deal. It's taught in schools.
Right.
So it must be true. And then you see these, like, all these people, you know, showing the video, and you're like, that looks like really bad editing that would have been done on a sound studio in 1969.
Yeah.
It really does. There's some compelling stuff out there.
I believe we've been in space in a way, but I just don't know. And maybe we even landed after that. Like maybe they wanted to win the war, and they did that.
And later on, we went back, just put the flag down real quick. Like, see, we were there.
But I'm definitely in a situation where I'm no longer sure of it.
I don't want to go down that road because there's a lot more people now that are like, the Earth's flat, right?
Okay. Yeah,
and they're bringing up a lot of evidence for that, and I'm not saying that either.
No, I know.
I don't. Really
as far as I went, and I don't think it's very wacky at all. But as far as I went, as you guys know, is the moon is fake,
right?
And my stance was always not the moon landing. I believe that they landed on a fake moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I don't know who put the moon there, but somebody did.
Yeah.
You know, and I had documentaries to back up my case. Those have all been pulled, but that's how the conspiracy works.
It's always the Nazis who put it there.
The documentary?
The moon.
Oh,
it's like every time I hear a documentary or something like that about.
I think aliens did.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Keeping an
they always
eye
blame
on
Nazis
us.
somehow on the History Channel.
Do they really?
They do.
Nazis were smart.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I'm not saying I agree with everything they did.
UFOs
they did some
and
horrific
get
shit
blamed on them.
But yeah, they were some smart dudes. In fact, a lot of those guys just became engineers in America after the war ended. We just took them, and it was like we didn't string them up or throw them in jail.
No, we actually employed them.
Yeah, we employed all of them. So there were some very, very smart engineers. And so I'm not in any way saying like, everything the Nazis did was above reproach.
They're the ones who got us to the moon because they put it there. They knew how to get there.
Well, maybe.
Interesting.
Maybe, but
it's all connected.
The moon was definitely placed there. That's all I know. And whether internally it's a whole base that they're able to keep an eye on us, I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm not saying. But I'm not like one of those whack jobs. It's like, the planet's flat.
Right. I don't.
The
There's just a weird line. I had a friend recently. She's really gone off the deep end with all this stuff. And like, no offense to her, she's a nice person. She really is a nice person. But she's not that smart to me. And she is like really. I mean, she's just regular.
That's who they're banking on for like
regularly sharing these things on like
the
Facebook.
Core sheeples. You need to be kind of dumb and
like this girl to me that again.
Wait,
really,
what does she believe?
I won't even get into all the stuff, but this is
like flat earther or
lots of stuff. I'll just say that, like always sharing reels.
Is she hot enough to have stupid?
Yeah, she's attractive, I guess.
Nice titties, at least.
That was probably her best feature. But,
okay.
But she can get away with it a little bit.
Yeah,
but once in a while, I'll randomly push back, and like she shared a I don't know if you want to call it a meme or maybe it was a video. It was a video or something the other day. Video. Something. Anyway, that basically insinuated that like satellites aren't real because they're like, have you noticed that GPS doesn't work in the desert or on mountains? How come, how is that possible when it's supposed to be coming up from the sky? And it's like the answer is that satellites are fake. And I literally messaged her. I'm like, I just, not a big deal, but I just drove around the country like 3-4 times over the other year. I drove through mountains and I was driving absolutely through the desert and getting GPS. And she's like, yep, sounds good. And just like thumbs up. I'm like, well,
that is just, I don't want to hear it.
So I'm like, no offense to her. She doesn't do travel. I don't know if she's ever left the state of Michigan. She might have, but it's not very much. I'm telling her as a person who drove around the country a bunch of times in the last year that I've had GPS work in fucking the desert and in mountains. And she was just like, oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I've had it working sometimes, and it's gotten much better over the years.
But it's like it's like there's a line where it's like I'm not like in this realm, but I do watch stuff. And like I said,
you know what?
There's
something
I'm not sure about it.
When you start going down that road of any of these conspiracies, whether it goes back to RFK or or JFK,
Yeah.
or moon landing, flat Earth, whatever your thing may be. Obviously we can all agree the moon's fake, but
Right,
but for
obviously.
like people out there that buy into stuff, there is some there's